Hello everyone, my name is John, and I am so excited to have you here with me in my library today. Today I wanted to do a March reading wrap-up to kind of put a bow on the end of this month and to make some plans for next month. In fact, well, that may be a different video, but definitely to wrap up the end of this month. I ended up reading several things. Unfortunately, as I sometimes do, I'm a great procrastinator, and I get very busy. I left a lot of my reading till right at the very end, as I said in my Mohicans video. And so I was able to complete my reading goals, but not quite in the way that I had originally intended. As in my last video, I did read Last of the Mohicans as my fiction book of the month. As I said before, we're choosing a fiction, a nonfiction, and a Shakespeare play that I'm reading every month. And so Last of the Mohicans was what I had set out to read, and I did. I really enjoyed it. I do believe it fell into the purple prose. As I mentioned in that video, my criticisms are very similar to that of Mark Twain, that Fenimore Cooper writes with 100 words what he could say in 2. But for more opinions on that, I would direct you to that video. But I did enjoy this, and perhaps I'll pick up some of the other leather stocking tales by Cooper in the future. Now for my, I put it down here. For my nonfiction pick this month, I had originally set out to read Undaunted Courage, which is a biography about Lewis and Clark. However, I got so far into the month and I realized that my time was running quite short and I would not be able to complete that book. And so instead, I changed paces and I did read a nonfiction book this month, but it was not that. I read The Abolition of Man by C.S. Lewis. Not a very long book, admittedly, but one that is dense and packed with knowledge. I haven't decided yet if or when I might do a video on this. In fact, I think I'm still unpacking it in my mind. I'd read it once when I was in high school, and I think it mostly went over my head there. And I think I went back to it and I thought, well, I think I'll have a better understanding now. And I do. There was a lot more that I got from it. But I think it will have to simmer with me, and I think I'll have to have a good reason to make a video on it before I do. Otherwise, I'll just be a confused mess. It's very dense, but it's very, very deep and enriching. I would recommend everybody read it. It's not very long. I think it is very topical. In this book, I believe we see C.S. Lewis going against a lot of the thought processes behind postmodernist thinking. The idea that there might not be a foundational moral truth, and that everything is relative, and it's more so how you feel rather than any basis of fact that kind of underpins our world. And so in this book, C.S. Lewis defends what he calls the Tao, which is traditional morality that is upheld by all manner of cultures, be it Christian, be it Hindu, be it Jewish, all sorts of cultures. So whether you agree with this or disagree, I would recommend you read it, because it will challenge you at whatever stance you take, and it'll have you think, and that's the main thing. I don't always agree with everything C.S. Lewis says, but boy howdy will he make me think, and that's I think that's what he's setting out to do. So unless I have more thoughts about that later, I may not make a video, but if I do, I'll certainly be happy to. Now, for Shakespeare this month, I read Much Ado About Nothing. I said in the February wrap-up that I read 2 Shakespeare plays last month. I read The Tempest and I read Macbeth. And I said that I might have to use The Tempest as my second Shakespeare play. But no, I read Much Ado About Nothing. I had read that one before. That was the one I was assigned while I was in college. Caesar was high school, and and about Much Ado About Nothing was what I was assigned in college, and I thoroughly enjoyed it on a second read. I told my wife that I was just so impressed by all that Shakespeare is able to do. That man will break your heart with King Lear. He will make you laugh with Much Ado About Nothing. He will he will make you feel fear in Macbeth. Like he's able to express all of these emotions and do each of them so well. He's got such a wide variety of poems, of plays and in different genres, and it never ceases to impress me what he was able to do. And mostly Much Ado About Nothing, I just found funny. That the humor of that play transcends at least 400 years in time. And so I really appreciated that, and I really should make a video. In fact, I probably will. This month will probably be fairly heavy on Shakespeare, because I did read The Tempest and I did read Much Ado About Nothing, and so I've kind of got to play a little bit of catch up, because I do hope to one day have all of Shakespeare's plays read and have videos representing each of them. And so I'll have to do that to catch up there this month. So I would be on the lookout for those. The last thing I read this month, and it's no longer a part of my monthly reading goals, but I did tell you that I would let you know what I did read, just in case any of you were curious. I did read a collection of comic book material. I ended up picking up The Flash by Mark Waid omnibus last month, and read that this month. Now, if you're unfamiliar, The Flash is a superhero from DC Comics. He can run at the speed of light, and this is the kind of the second era or the third era of the Flash. In the 40s and 50s, he was a man by the name of Jay Garrick who wore a winged hat and a t-shirt and ran around saving the day. In the 50s and 60s and 70s, he was Barry Allen, who was more familiar to audiences as he was a member of the Justice League. He wore the red jumpsuit and received his powers after a case of chemicals was struck by lightning and it all fell on him. This is Wally West, who was the third iteration of the Flash. Barry Allen died in the 1985 event Crisis on Infinite Earths, and his sidekick, at that time called Kid Flash, took on the role of his mentor, the Flash. And these stories are rich in legacy, in trying to fill shoes that feel too big, and I think that they do so very well. There was one story in this volume called Born to Run, which really takes a look at Wally West's origin story and his relationship to Barry Allen as a child. And there was another story called The Return of Barry Allen, where a villain attempts to become Barry Allen, and Wally has to come to terms with the fact that his mentor has passed away, and that the person standing in front of him is a lie. So there's a lot there, and I did enjoy it. Anyway, that was my reading wrap up for this month. I hope that you enjoyed watching. I hope that you will tune in real soon whenever I figure out what I'm going to read next month. I don't know quite yet. What I do know is I will be reading that biography on Lewis and Clark this coming month. And that's because sometimes I find myself struggling to finish a long nonfiction book, but that's not what I want. And so I want to give equal focus on each. And so I'm going to to really try and get that biography read this month. I'll probably read that first, and I may choose a shorter fiction book to compensate for the longer nonfiction read I have ahead of me. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. I thank you so much for watching. I think you're all very special, and I do hope that you stick with me in the future, because I have a lot of good things planned. Thank you so much, and I appreciate you. Bye-bye now.